So you're thinking about selling final expense over the phone, or perhaps you already are, and you want to make sure that you do the best job possible, because final expense telesales is not easy. It's simple, but not easy. And you need to make sure that you empower yourself with the best knowledge and strategies available to be successful. And that is why we're here today. My name is David Duford. I own Duford Insurance Group. We train agents nationally to sell final expense over the phone with our unique one-on-one mentorship program. And I've got Mr. Tim Hildebrand here. He is Duford Insurance Group's telesales final expense trainer, and he's going to take us through some tips to maximize your success selling final expense over the phone. So Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, David. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for your time, man. You're super busy training our agents, so glad to peel you away for a few minutes here. Telesales is a tough gig. I think you can agree with me, and it's something that agents need training for. So we're going to jump right into these tips, because it is no easy street for sure. So the first tip that you listed for me is developing tonality, care, concern, and the killer instinct for the prospect's good. What does that mean? And could you describe?
Yeah, so everything that you do needs to be for their best interest, because with our product, the people who buy are going to buy because they need it. There's a real need for that. So if you come at it from a sincere desire for their best interest, they will feel that, and it'll be a part of what you need in order to make the sale on telesales. Tonality being also a crucial element. If you're face-to-face, you're going to need some tonality too. This isn't, you can't be face-to-face, go blah, 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 blah. Telesales is just an amplified version of the tonality needs. So when I'm carrying, how are you doing? Oh my gosh. Oh, you had a funeral? Oh my gosh. No, who was it? Oh. You've got to be able to shift down in gears really fast, but you know when it's coming. It's all in the script. Right. So you can prompt yourself to sound concerned. So when you record yourself and you don't sound concerned, no one heard it. I guarantee you. If you can't hear it on your recording, you didn't do it. You need to, I don't know, scrunch your face up, look concerned, and then also maybe exaggerate your concern tone being the most important one, but also the certainty tone, the conviction tone, all of that's totally necessary, because they have to buy into what you're selling, and you don't want to buy into what they're selling, which is to go think about it.
So based on what I'm hearing here, Tim, it sounds like tone matters. There's a lot of talk about how you say things, not just what you say. Certainly what you say is important. Why is this so particularly important for the final expense telesales agent to master regarding tonality?
Because frankly, people buy from what they see, and we're telesales, so they don't see anything. We don't get to show them a brochure. We don't get to see our face. They don't see our body language. They don't know that you care. So you need to state explicitly at some point through that conversation that you're going to take care of them and Jill, their beneficiary, and that they're a good mom, a good dad, a good friend. You need to compliment them, pat them on the head at various points, respond to their answers. Don't just ask questions like question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. Right. That's the most boring thing you could possibly do, and you're just losing a sale, in my opinion. So what you need to do is question, answer, respond with care, concern, empathy, compliment, suggestion. Those are the things. So if they say, well, I don't know how I'd feel if my family found out it was all on them, you would say, suggestion. Do you think maybe it would be a struggle for them, that kind of a burden? Oh, yeah, you're right. Probably a burden. Well, Miss Jones, how would you feel if they had to struggle and have that burden? Oh, I wouldn't like it. I don't want anyone paying my way. I've always paid my own way. You sound like a good mom. Right. Now, Ms. Jones, what do you want this policy to do? That's how it needs to go down.
Right. Right. No, that's brilliant. And I can't emphasize enough. If you're going to do anything devoid of one-on-one, all of that absolutely applies face-to-face. If you're doing this over the phone, what Tim just described there, it's make it or break it. You don't do what Tim described, you're toast. So let's follow up real quick on that, Tim. What do you think the number one or two best ways are to identify and develop better tone in your final expense presentation?
Well, I'd say the two best ways are clearly having a coach, and then the other one is recording your own self a lot. So I recommend, just like all our other trainers, you need to record yourself at least 100 times and listen back specifically to judge yourself, to see, am I getting the tone right? Not did I read the words in English? No, it's did you do the tone right? And plus, look, this is a trust-based sale over your voice only. People have to hear what you're saying and totally have no doubt that you're the insurance dude or gal or whatever. Right. You're the insurance person. There's no doubt. That's the trust. So how you say that script either persuades them to be like, well, no matter what, this person sure knows what they're doing, or they're going, I don't know if you even know what you're doing, dude. So you have to get to the point, and you can get there 100 recordings and you can sound just great. If you can't, not going to work.
And I would liken, and this is such a cornerstone principle, I think, to any performance-based activity, not just sales, but sports, is this idea of practicing the fundamentals, right? I mean, athletes do it. They practice the same throws, the same punches, the same techniques over and over and over again. Why? Because mastering the fundamentals is how you master the business. This is no different. You have to master the fundamentals, and tonality is the fundamental thing. And recording yourself and having somebody who's not you, who likes and wants to give you constructive criticism, is a way to find out ways to improve that you otherwise probably wouldn't identify on your own. That's why coaching is so important. So number 2 here on the list of tips to be successful telesales is you got to close on the first call. End of story. You mean I can't call these people back and then sell them on the second or third call? What gives, Tim?
Absolutely not. Any idea that you had that you could call them back tomorrow, Mr. Duford, El Jefe, and Tim Hildebrand right now are telling you that is a delusional thought. It's not going to happen. They won't talk to you again. It was all an illusion, a trick that the senior was playing on you, because they are more wise. Apparently, they can sell you on the fact that they've got to go and they'll call you back and you're their favorite agent. And if you haven't heard that one, you haven't been on Telesales. No,
you mean to tell me when they say they need to pray about it, they're telling me a lie?
Well, yes, especially if they say they're going to be talking to you again. That's the absolute.
I'll definitely talk. I'll let you know by tomorrow, Tim, if I'm going to buy this or not.
That's right. That's never going to happen. So you got a one call, one close. OCOC. We've been saying this since the 70s. OCOC. Well, I haven't. I wasn't born then, but everyone else has in the industry. OCOC. One call, one close. It's been around forever, and it's just the way it is. If you can get the consumer to buy today, they'll walk away happy, brag about what they bought. If you don't get them to buy today, they walk away and they what? Don't buy. And they convince themselves that they never wanted to.
But there was that one time 5 years ago where she did call me back. And because it worked that one time, out of the thousands of times, I'm still going to do it that way. Why is that not a perfectly logical explanation why I can call them back?
Oh, man, I could break that down. So here's the thing. You can go ahead and risk all your money on the 2-call close at a 1 out of 50 close rate, because that's who will call you back and that's what you'll sell. Congratulations, you made the 1 out of 50. What I'm suggesting and what Dave is suggesting is that instead of doing that, that you simply go for a 30 to 50% close rate instead of a 2% close rate. So which one do you want? That's just really the question. And if you want the 30 to 50% close rate over the phone, then 1 call, 1 close is the only way.
Well, then how do I get the sale on the first call? What are give me like 2 or 3 tips that would help more persistently, consistently make that 1 call sale every single time?
Yep. You have to build the trust. If you're not the convicted, unreasonable expert that you need to be on this phone call with the right tonality, they don't believe you. And so they're going to get you to believe them. And not only that, don't be such a friend. Don't get so into the friendship with them where you feel like, oh no, if I try to close her, she won't like me and tomorrow she'll give me the sale. We all have that feeling. Look, we all have that same feeling like, ooh, I don't want to burn bridges. I'm telling you to attempt to burn the bridge, because the good people aren't going to have a burned bridge. The good people who buy from you are going to acquiesce to you and go, oh, you're right. Let's just do the app. When you try to do the objection handler, and maybe the next one, you have to objection handle 2 times. It's not that scary. 1 or 2 times on the phone, you got to handle an objection. But along the way, in order to get them down, you do have to handle the initial objection. And then maybe oh, I'm busy. I got to go. How long is this going to take? I need to leave in 2 minutes. You got to handle that objection, keep them on the phone. But then at the end, when you're trying to close them and they're like, oh, I got to think about it. I got to talk to my friends, or I don't give out my social over the phone. I don't give out my bank account over the phone. You have to read the objection handler, read the script at least once. And if that burns the bridge, it's not your fault. That's their fault. The good people will buy from you. The bad people will just get mad and go away and never talk to you again. So who cares? They're not talking to you again either. We're telling you that right now. If they're going away off of this call, they're never talking to you again.
And is that where that you mentioned being unreasonable? Is that where that comes from?
Yeah. Here's the thing. You have to be unreasonably convicted about that this is the right thing to do now, which is to do the app, because you're the right person. I've listened to you now very closely. You're not only want this, need it, you're the impressionable person who I know I can impress upon. That's what I'm listening for. By the way, dude, that's $1 million piece of advice. You're listening for people who you can be impressing. Those are the people who will buy from you. So when you hear somebody is going along with you, you're going to have to make them do this now, because good people will also ignore you. So if you let them go on the 2-call close. So when you're unreasonable, that means no one can talk you out of it. This is straight up. No one can change my mind that we need to do the application today. Nobody. Not Mildred, no matter how much I like her and I care about everything that she just told me. She can't convince me that going this direction is wrong. And in fact, I should let her go and think about it. I should let her go talk to her kids. You can't convince me that I'm totally unreasonable. You could tell me the most reasonable things and I'll say, I totally understand that. I'll read the objection handler and then I'll say, look, bottom line is we don't even know if we can get the approval yet. So let's go ahead and do that now. Spell your beneficiary name for me, because I'm not changing the fact that we go that way. That's how we do our job. Mildred doesn't know how I do my job. She's just making a suggestion. She's like, I want to go to the left. I'm going, that's great, but we're actually going this way. So come this way.
That's awesome. And that's the difference between failure and success in this business, y'all, is leadership is unreasonable sometimes, right? Taking a step out in a direction that isn't necessarily comfortable or 100% risk-free, but that's what moves hearts and minds. And you have to be that person if you want to have any substantial success in this business. That's awesome, Tim. Number 3 on the list here, tips for telesales final expense agents. You need to build a business, sell, and collect checks. How do you mean?
Oh, yeah. A big problem that I had, and I know now we've heard a lot of other big producers have had initially, is that they are sell machines, and we'll just sell anything under the sun. But we didn't go back and collect the check. We didn't go back and fix the policy. We didn't go back and set somebody out another 30 days because they, forgot, bought too much beer or something. So you need to go back and collect your checks. Make sure you get paid, and then collect the other 11. So it's always been that way in insurance. And for some reason, we get away from it because of the auto bill, probably to the bank draft and all that. But truly, our predecessors, our forefathers of insurance sales, always went back and collected the check. And you still need to do that today. Gotcha.
Number 5 here. Now, this is interesting. When it comes to leads, we've got some points on leads. It's always a big conversation point with any kind of final expense sales, is self-generate for cheaper leads and higher return on investment. We've been doing a lot of talk here lately, Tim and I, about self-generating leads and implementing that as a part of the strategy at the Ford Insurance Group, specifically for telesales. Kind of expand on why you think that's important and why it's beneficial to the agent.
So for your long-term success in any business, you need ROI, return on investment. And that's what I was talking about also in the other thing. And sell, collect checks, and building a business around what you're doing. And the business model means that I need to control things. That's what business is. It's totally, I need to control XYZ factors in order to get this much profit. Now, when you start thinking as a business person, you start finding that maybe you're paying a lot for leads. And if you could somehow edge into that profit margin, it would all just be profit margin for you. And that's where self-gen comes in. Not that that's easy, not that it's quick. It's actually quite slow. And it requires a lot of learning on your part. So we sell, collect, and market. Now, once you learn it, it's not that big of a deal. But you're going to have to learn it. It's going to slow you down. It is, I would say, necessary in the long run, but there's a lot of people not doing self-gen. But I would say that the people who are, it's pretty clear the people who are making a lot of money are absolutely trying to get cheaper leads at a higher quality.
Yeah, and we did an analysis earlier today with a new group of agents coming in, and one of them asked, let's talk about ROI and telesales. And we went through the math, and part of my explanation was if you take a look at the cost of doing business, and if you cut out the retail operation and just do it yourself, which there's plenty of courses and strategies to teach you to do it, it's not terribly overwhelming. And if you can cut your costs in half for the same volume of leads, you practically double your ROI, assuming everything else about your sales strategy stays the same. So the point being, there's definitely a place for self-generation of leads. You can control the leads, which is always a big issue with a lot of agents. If you're new to the business, lead generation or buying leads is akin to the used car sales business. There's some good vendors out there, but there's a lot of garbage. And the worst of the worst will get you in trouble financially. There are agents that get sued over leads that they thought were legit, were actually dialed to a do not call listed number, and they're now a part of a scheme, an emergency or ambulance chasing scheme to divorce them of some of their money. So got to be very careful with the leads. Tim, your thoughts on the brand new telesales agent self-generating leads? Is it a good idea or a bad idea?
It's pretty clear that there's more complication in that. Typically, it's a bad idea. You need to just see if you can even sell. Some people, with all the right intentions and all the right training, suck. So if you're just bad, you either need to get good and learn how to sell or whatever. So you can't build all this self-gen up for many weeks and then find out that you're bad. That would also just be horrible. So instead, just buy vendor leads, see if you can sell. And if in that first week, even a week, then go ahead and start your self-gen stuff. So it is better for new agents to buy vendor leads, make sure you can sell. You buy 100 leads and look, telesales is different. Some of you face-to-face guys are listening, just blow your mind if you haven't heard it already, but we'll only close like 5 out of 100 leads. So what I'm really trying to get people to do is buy like 200 or 300 leads a week, not your 30 or 60 that you guys are buying. Well, we need a huge volume to get to like 10, 15 sales. And that's why we need them so cheap and all of that fun stuff. But if you're new, look, this isn't a newbie thing. You can't just jump in. Hey, my Facebook account's perfect now and I'm buying all that I want. I bought 300. That's not how that works.
Yeah, the thing with me, and I'm very sensitive, and this is our stance on self-gen of leads, because it's a very common question we get from agents who are joining. There's a lot of courses out there. I affiliate market for many of them. They do a great job, but what I see happens is that good intentioned agents will deviate from first things they need to be doing. They start doing the thing that sounds fun or potentially lucrative and not the hard work and the grind that it takes to get good. You can have 200 or 300 leads a week, but if you can't sell yourself out of a wet paper bag, you're still going to lose money. So the way we look at things, Tim and I both agree on this, is that agents need to know how to sell. They got to prove to themselves and us that they can convert business and leads into sales. And if they can do that, well, especially in the first week, anecdotally, that's always an indication that that agent has long-term potential in the business. And for both Tim and I, we are much less, worried if an agent starts to become interested in self-generation of leads after they get some initial success. So it's kind of a put your cart before the horse thing, right? Do first things first, practice, study, prepare, successfully sell to purchase leads, and then get into self-gen. That's our perspective on the business. And other than that, it's a great idea. And it's a great strategy to control quality and reduce costs. Continuing on, your new hobby. This is tip number 5 for final expense telesales agents looking to do well. Tip number 5 is your new hobby is A/B split testing ads for cheaper leads and higher intent. Now, if you probably out there have marketed before, you might understand the concept of A/B split testing. Tim, go ahead and for the uninitiated, explain what that means and why it's important.
Oh, you're going off the waterfall here for sure. This is where you're getting into the deep end, and this is where you need to be. So don't worry, you can learn to swim. A/B split testing is literally just this ad versus this ad, A and B. Which one gave me a cheaper price? This one? Okay, stop this one. Okay, now I have this one. It's A. Now I'm going to do another one, B. Let's see. And each one, A and B, you're going to change one thing. Color of the shirt. Or word that I used there. Call in now or set appointment. That's it. And then which one does better? Get rid of the other one. Doesn't matter whatever you're thinking, whatever your presuppositions are. Well, I loved that ad. Screw that ad, man. This one's cheaper. Go with that one. That's your new hobby. What a great hobby, dude. Because all you're doing is taking like an $8 lead and bringing it down to $6. And now it's down to $4 and you're like getting happy. That's, dude, what a great hobby. I love A/B split testing. And it's as simple to do as just one thing at a time. So easy, just one thing.
Yeah. And and for all marketing, all good ads die. I've got over here on the wall an ad I ran in the local newspaper in Signal Mountain, Tennessee, when I was a personal trainer. And I framed it over here on the wall because it was the ad that made me a lot of money. I mean, for a 21, 22-year-old kid, that ad made me 180 grand in revenue for like a margin of the revenue brought in. It was broke even on the front end, profited on the front end, made residual income. I ran that thing for 2 years, never changed anything. But what happens to ads, what Tim's describing, they eventually start to die. They go lame. And incidentally, I never could reproduce the success nor really understood the concept of A/B testing. And as the sales slowed down, my business slowed down. And so part of this, guys, when you're self-generating your own leads and telesales, is you can't just expect a good ad to run forever. They won't. So you got to always be testing, figuring out which one performs better, let your winners ride, and cut your losses short. That's really what marketing is all about, right, Tim?
Yes, that's it.
So point number 6 here for final expense telesales agents is, what are the better leads? Yes, better leads are easier sales. Please explain.
Well, contrary to popular opinion in the sales world, a lead is not just a lead, is not just a lead. There are better leads and there are worse leads. Surprise, surprise, where someone's finally telling you the truth. I know when I was selling, I hated when managers told me, oh, these leads are just as good as those leads. And dude's over here selling at 75%, and I'm over here selling at 25%, beating myself to death. And then, whoa, it's the same, lead's a lead's a lead. It is not. It's false. That's a lie. Straight up false. There's no gray area. Leads are better. So what's a better lead? Let me tell you exactly what they are for telesales. Someone wants to call you in. They want to call in off your ad. Hey, I want to know about the state regulated final expense. Tell me about it. That's freaking great. It doesn't get a lot better than that. You got a 100% pickup rate. There's no doubt you'll get that person to price, and you get to quote them. So, dude, you get your close rate on it. You get like 30 to 50% close rate on that. That's a great lead. Can you get all those? No, you can't get a lot of them. They're more expensive to get, and they kind of drip through. I estimate around 5%. You get 100 leads. If you've tuned in your self-gen, you get about 5% of those. So it's only 5 calls, but 5 calls could be 2 or 3 sales. That's why that matters. It's easy. So then you have self-set appointments, which is going to be like a huge bulk now of your sales, because we've proven it again and again. 20% of your leads can go self-set appointments. So you get 100 leads, you could get 20 self-set appointments if you set it all up the way that we are training. So that closes, you only have maybe 40 to 50% show up. Oh no, nobody's showing up. There's only 40, 50%. But then you can close like nearly 50% of them because they're so high intent. They showed up. Not only did they set it up in their calendar, they remembered, and they showed up. By the way, you only let them set today or tomorrow. And we put at least 3 reminders to make them show up. And it's still only 40 to 50%. But if you close about half of them, Dude, like 20 of those, you're closing half, it's like 20%, you get like 4 sales. So there I just picked up 6 sales off of my 100. I didn't even dial on the dialer at all.
Yeah,
And
that's not
then,
even counting the business that's in the dials you could do, right? That's just
yeah,
presets.
that's exactly it. Now the next one is 5-minute calls, speed to lead. That means you call your lead immediately within 5 minutes when it comes in, because every 10th person you attempt, not talk to, but attempt, you will make a sale from. So if you can attempt 30 in a week or something, 40, 50 in a week, which would be more like 200 leads. But if you could attempt just like 30 in a week out of your 100, because some come in late night, you can't attempt those, speed to lead, you're asleep. But all the ones during the daytime, you know, you're talking about another 3 sales potential. So what I'm talking about is milking the leads dry through a system of business that actually focuses on producing the highest volume stuff, and not just, hey, give me data so I can call data on my dialer 500 times a day. That's fine. And that's also okay. I'm mocking it, but at the same time, it's crucial, and you got to dial. But also when you get in it and you got money and you're making it work, now you've designed your business, you might not dial. You might have someone else dial.
Yeah, and I'll add this too. You mentioned data, and a lead is not a lead is not a lead. All of this is, guys, 100% true. There are organizations that are more on the MLM side that serve Kool-Aid. Is very spiked. It's not legit, and they make money even if you don't make a sale. And you might be wondering how they do that. They do it because they profit immensely off of the sale of what they call a lead, which is really a glorified name in a phone book. There is an organization which shall remain nameless, but if you think hard enough, you'll know what I'm talking about. They literally buy data for cents on the dollar, pennies on the dollar, mark them up to $9, $10, $11 a piece, and then resell them over and over again. They're pitched as fresh, exclusive leads, literally a lie to you. And even before you pick up the phone and try to sell, which is very difficult on that stuff, they have made hand over fist for a 25-cent investment, $30, $40, $50. And they do that thousands of times a day. Why is that a problem? Well, because you don't know about that. You're told the lead is a lead is a lead, and they win and you don't. You know, we don't do that here, guys. I'll just promote ourselves a little bit, shameless plug. We only make money when you do. Tim makes bonuses on production. Our company makes revenue on production, meaning your sales of insurance. So everything we're talking about, we don't make money until you win. So we care about everything up to that point. And that's an important distinction, because the vast majority of the companies out there have engineered their recruitment system to financially profit, even if you don't. And no wonder so many people fail. Last point here, tip number 7. And then if you guys have questions, or those of you who are watching live on the Insurance Sales Success website, by the way, daviddufour.com/ISS. If you're interested in joining, if you're watching this on a YouTube recording, you can go there to watch, get exclusive access to watching these videos live that we do in recording well in advance before they go out on YouTube, as well as have tons of access to free resources, training, video courses, etc. Completely free, daviddufour.com/ISS. Last tip of the day, work ethic with talent plus the right business model. Please explain why this is important for the telesales final expense agent.
Yeah, I'll start this one very simply. If I tell you to go dig a hole to find gold and you use a broom, that's not going to work. So I told you to do the right thing, but you're using the wrong tool and you're doing it in the wrong way. So if I tell you to go dig a hole for gold and use a shovel, and you put it bottom side up with the shovel up and you're banging into the dirt, still not going to work. You're using the right tool in the wrong way, doing the right thing. So success is a function of right thing with the right tool in the right way, enough time throughout the week. So your talent is doing the right thing in the right way with the right tool. The business model is what kind of comes behind you like a wave and lifts up your ship, so that you can have 200 leads in a week come in at $5 each, and you spend $1,000 and sold 12 sales. That's the business model amplification of your talent and your work ethic. So at the final piece of this whole thing, everything I just said, everything, none of it matters, except that you apply work ethic. When you apply work ethic, you're not going to get 15 sales on 5 days a week. Maybe, probably not. It's 6 days. You're probably going to need to spend a long time on those days. We have people going 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's because they're committed. I love those people. That's because they're not workaholics, but they're committed to their families. And that's what work ethic is. It's your commitment to your sphere of influence, your people that are around you that need you. It's not work, work, work. Dave and Tim, a manager is trying to do, I want to do. No, it's you and your family. And what lights a fire inside of your soul to get you back in there to do another appointment that might not show up. But if they did, you could make a sale.
Yeah. And thank you for being an apologetic for work ethic. There's a big push these days to work less and work-life balance. And I know you're not advocating no balance, but guys, if you want things in life, you have to pay a price for them. You've got to give your time and effort, and it's going to cost you something. And nobody here, and the fact that you're not hearing like, hey, just be on the phone 3 days for 5 hours, and you're going to make 10 grand a week. There are people who do something and say something similar to that. If you hear that, run, because it's just not true. There's time on task, work ethic, along with having system and a business model. It's absolutely necessary for anything in life, and final expense telesales is no different. So Tim, thank you for being here again. Tim is our DeFord Insurance Group final expense telesales trainer. Every agent that joins DeFord Insurance Group gets one-on-one training, whether you do telesales or face-to-face. We absolutely support that too. It's what makes DeFord Insurance Group the best agency that's out there, and completely different from the competition, because most everybody just wants to throw you to the wolves and not bother to support or train you. If you're interested to learn more, daviddeford.com, click the FAQ link to investigate. We also now have on the website an option to schedule a 15-minute discovery call where you can ask questions, learn more, and see if what we do is a good fit.